Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Once a DJ. If you'd like to support the show, then head to onceadj.com/support to find out how you can help. If you'd like to get in touch with any feedback or suggestions, email onceadjpodcast@gmail.com. Once a DJ is produced by the good people at Remote Control. If you'd like to find out more about working with them, head to remote-ctrl.co.uk. Time for the show. So welcome back to Once a DJ, everyone, and welcome Kieran Hadley, aka DJ Baboon, aka signwriter extraordinaire Bab Sabbath. And nice to see you in person here at TYX Studios in Wakefield. Thanks for coming down here.
You're very welcome. It's a good spot.
Yeah, it's nice, and thanks to George for setting it up for us. Really appreciate that. So let's kick off like we always do. And do you just want to start us by telling us how you got into music in the first place and DJing?
So, I've been trying to work this out. I've been trying to find those like seminal moments, and I think it goes back to my brother's friend, which I think is a lot of people's story, right? Called Sam Wingrave, who ended up being Russell Brand's tour DJ. He played like sort of go-go funk, like breaks stuff,
right?
Way back when I was 14, so 90 something.
He's playing go-go?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like just interesting stuff, but he let me just have a go playing. It was something off that Blow Up comp. Remember those Blow Up comps? It's like sort of French funk thing. Wonderful.
Oh, nice.
And like all the early Mowax stuff. I was just like, there we go. That's it. And then every £5 pocket money was a 12-inch at the record shop. And if I could have maintained the consistency of those first like 4 or 5 records, if I had a collection that was that good, when I got to 4,000, it was like DJ Crush, DJ Shadow double A side, and like Kruder and Dorfmeister stuff, and Bomb the Bass. And I was just like, you spent so long with only £5.
But yeah, I think you've hit something there, and it depends what DJing becomes to you. Because you get the people where they've just got to get the thing that's current. And I feel quite lucky that in my musical journey, as soon as I started learning about samples, that was me. I was just looking backwards all the way. Like I'd always been into older music anyway. But what I found with that was that I've always been pretty bad with what's current, and I continue to be, and this is why I wouldn't be a very good function open format DJ professionally.
Yeah, I tried that. It wasn't a good look.
Yeah, I just don't concentrate. Like some people make a really good living and really enjoy it, but I'm too bothered about the stuff in the past. But yeah, if you were the guy that's like, I just need to have the newest thing, sometimes the shelf life that they've got is really, really short, so you do end up with a lot. I mean, I found it when I was buying new hip-hop. I'd go into certain shops and you'd kind of get sold. I was quite easy at certain points to get sold into what they needed to get rid of.
Yeah.
I think, and go, they'd tell you with this sort of confidence that this is a good song, and you go, all right, yeah, cool, nice one. Then you end up with 2 copies of it. Yeah. It's not very good for juggling with, and you don't really like it anyway. Yeah. But yeah, like you say, when you've got that first bit of money, and you just want the best.
It's like it never. Because it just gets more and more diluted over time. And I've got a great record collection, but just when I had like 10 and they were all bangers, like they were all just beautiful. And you remember like what order you got them in, and you've got nothing else, so you play them again and again and again.
Yeah, I remember playing certain DJ sets when I probably only had about 60 records, maybe less. And you're absolutely killing it because just everything that you've got, you know really well and you really love it. And you did some wicked gigs, and then you go out and you've got this bigger sort of collection with you, and you can kind of overthink it or get the paralysis of, oh, should I play that? Should I not play that? Whereas when you've got this little selection, you're just like, right, bang, 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 bang.
I mean, I did thrive when I started Serato early on, because my ADHD was just loving it. I could just bounce into anything at any point, and if I'd wanted to go down like an hour of Bollywood sample stuff in a busy bar, I'm doing that. I'm just going to do whatever my brain tells me to do.
Yeah.
And just chase down interesting things, or just play, like 60s white funk music, and I'd have a season where I'd be obsessed with like chasing down a thing and finding everything.
Yeah.
And I didn't get a lot more gigs, but it's fun.
So when did you start? So if you started DJing at about 14, did you get decks quickly, or?
Yeah, I got decks when I was like 15. DLP 3s,
Oh.
Sound Lab.
Direct drive?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And a little Gemini something. I want to say like 323, like the little Gemini 2-channel black and orange boy.
So did you start learning to scratch with that setup?
Yeah, on the floor, on my knees, just figuring it out. So I'd seen like Northwest Tonight had a thing with the scratch perverts on, incongruously, where I think it was like First Rate stood on Mr. Thing's shoulders cutting and them doing like body tricks and stuff, and I was 14, 15. I was like, holy crap, that's the best thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then a DJ from Manchester called Sparrow that used to play on 6 turntables, he was on the news. But it's like those little fragments of things that you can find. And then like DMC videos.
Yeah, I remember when I first heard about Kid Koala, it was a guy called Alex Crowther. I don't know if you ever came across him in Leeds. And how I remember it now is almost like him going, there's this guy, right, Kid Koala, records music on like 13 turntables. And that's what I had in my head, that somehow he was doing all this stuff live, and it was just like this folklore
like your
thing
teenage
to me.
brain just loves it. You're like, what, one more turntable than everyone else? That means it must be like one turntable better.
I suppose.
Just scratch, scratch, atch.
Yeah,
mix.
like when you...
That Ninja Tune one.
I think when you get into battle DJing, they're almost like superheroes.
Oh, they were for me, for sure. Mixmaster Mike is still the pinnacle of like super, and he knows it. Like,
Yeah.
he has that superhero persona, and I'm like, I'm down for it. Like, it's just all-time favourite for just that, for bombast and stupid body tricks. And like, I was talking to Michael about it, and he's like, there's 14-year-olds that could paste him in a battle, but
They couldn't do what he does.
But they couldn't do what, like, he just does very fast scratching, and he's just himself. He's 100% Mixmaster Mike.
Yeah, there's no one like
There's
him.
loads of stuff he couldn't keep up with, but I do not give the tiniest shit. Like, he's just wonderful. He's such a joy to watch.
Yeah, and I think what you get with young kids that are doing this, or any sort of other art form where you get these sort of prodigies that are doing something that's creative, young. You're doing it without this life experience that I think even with something like scratching, for example, it can inform how you do it and what you do. And because I think a lot of the time you'll get it with like the sport parents as well, that will teach, so they'll be kind of pushing the kid into doing this thing, and the kid will be technically incredible, but they've been taught someone else's style.
Okay. Yeah.
I think you get it with b-boying as well. Like, I used to DJ a few battles, and you'd get these kids, and sometimes they'll be doing really kind of adult sort of gestures and things like that you're like...
But they've never been in a battle. They've never understood battling as a proxy for fighting in the real world.
Yeah.
Which is, like, you don't have to go that far back for those gestures to mean something very different. Like, they were a way of substituting actually punching someone in the face or swinging a chain.
And it's
and
even
just like,
there's a lot of kind of gesturing, isn't there?
There was a lot of kids who could also, like, do air tracks at 12, but they had no funk.
Yeah.
Like, they were entirely funkless. They weren't even really listening to the music, they were just doing routines. And then you get older heads that, their back's gone a little bit and they can't do everything, but they've got so much funk.
Exactly,
Just so much.
So, when you'll see a b-boy who dances to the music, or b-girl, sorry, and then you'll see the ones that are just like, right, I need to do my set of moves. But you get that with scratching as well, don't you? You see people put scratch vid up and it's like, right, I've got to do my 75 click flares, and they'll do them for 3 bars, and then they'll do a bar of whatever else, 76 click flare orbits and stuff, and it becomes like an endurance sport
Yeah.
rather than music.
I was entirely taken in by that for a while. I thought it was just the best. You know, that sort of like shortcut Yoga Frog style of just super intense, mega techie scratching. And then saw some like music college funk bands and had that sort of epiphany where you're like, you're basically masturbating on stage. Like, really, that's what's happening, is you're just going like... Pew!
Yeah, like I call
And
that
it's
like technical funk.
Yeah, and it's like there's no... Again, there's no funk, there's no, like, joy in it even, it's just technique.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just going back to your timeline then, are you from Leeds originally? Lancaster? Oh, okay. So what was it like getting any further exposure then? Like, was there much of a community around DJing? Or?
No, there was, like, a couple of my friends were in a similar sort of, had a drum machine, had some turntables, made some stuff on Amigas, whatever. And then, like, nearly all of them came over to Leeds. Sort of over 3 years, everyone just moved over. And some of them went to music college. A lot of sort of, like DJ transplants were around that sort of party scene. But I think, like, a lot of the other people around me weren't hip-hop guys. They were, like, sort of tech house, free party people. Like, but that's the guy that I got my turntables from. The Technics that I got when I came here, they were from that sort of world that had already been to a million free parties.
Were they absolutely battered then?
Yeah. They're still running on though. Still going.
That's mad. Yeah, I realise that mine are 20 odd years old now.
Yeah, mine will be. I mean, yeah, they're Mark IIs, but they were old when I got them. 200 quid. But yeah, then slowly sort of found Leeds hip hop people. Michael was teaching classes at a little tiny community place down at the bottom of Leeds, Hyde Park. And then there was like Matman, Elefino. I used to put on like a Saturday afternoon hip hop thing in the Merrion Centre, in the same place as the only surviving goth night in Leeds, which was hilarious. So the goths were in after us on Saturday.
Is the Merrion Centre where, because obviously with like Leeds was an important place in the first wave of hip hop in the UK, was it the Merrion Centre where they used to do stuff back in the 80s?
Yeah, it's like the Merrion Centre, so the club in there and the Faversham were like the birthplace of goth, I guess. But Elefino was like 14 when he started coming down, so we had to smuggle him in to play. And Tim and his mate weren't officially allowed in, but they were tall, and we got away with it. And
it must have been good then to be worth getting smuggled in.
Oh, he's banging, absolutely banging, like great. He's like, I tend to kick back when people talk about talent because I don't really believe it's a thing, but occasionally you just get someone like that where they're just getting an MPC and within 2 months you're like, right, my album's ready. You know, is it? Yeah, you just learn how to use it and finished like
Can you
a full
expand
tape of
on that
beats.
then?
Well, I get people when I'm painting, and either flippantly or not, they'll say talented, and I always make a point of being like, no, like I'm not talented. Like I don't believe that's the thing. And there's loads of people that were better than me. I just kept doing it. And you know, with scratching, there's occasionally I've met people that just had an intrinsic ability to pick things up fast, and that wasn't me either. But just sticking to it, just carrying on doing it. Like life is long. You keep doing something regularly, and you get less shit.
Yeah.
I think my philosophy is something around the lines of just work on being a bit less crap each time you do something.
It's there's like, I think there is such a thing as talent, but like I definitely take your point that some people with like talent doesn't mean success.
No.
You know,
like the most talented people I know are very, very few of them actually break through and do something with it. Like the people with raw like processing power, genius people that I've met, most of them do minimum wage jobs. And
do you think it's because they don't appreciate what they've got?
Yeah, it's just like, you know, like it's just breathing. It's just there. You can do it.
You get it a lot with footballers.
Yeah, you get
they're full of promise and just make bad decisions. Where you get like a Cristiano Ronaldo, who's obviously skillful, but has just worked and worked and worked and worked to become what he became.
Yeah, like I taught coach basketball when I was teaching, and you got kids who were just preposterously good. They were built for it. They had unlimited energy. They were just great. They picked everything up quick. But they didn't have that thing that pushed them into going and joining Leeds Tigers or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like a work ethic that's the main thing. It's like the reason the Filipino kids were smashing it and potentially going to be professional athletes was because they just had that like focus and drive and a bit of vision about where you need to be next and what you need to do.
Yeah. So what was it that took you to Leeds then?
My brother was already there. So I had a place at Manchester doing film, and then came up in the summer, went to some free parties, started seeing a girl, and was like, I'm going to come to Leeds instead. And found a place through clearing. Did a year at Leeds, met, dropped out, went to a different course doing cultural studies the year after.
So what took you to cultural studies?
I mean, it's been weirdly useful. It's one of those ones that gets like Mickey Mouse degreed a lot. It's like, oh, you do media and cultural studies. Like, all right, cool. But like, it is the reason that I sort of have the understanding that I have of a lot of the art stuff and the music stuff that I've done since is, you know, those ideas of things like cultural capital and circles of practice and being within sort of groups of people and moving towards the centre of a sort of circle of practice of people doing something. A lot of those things are things from a cultural studies degree.
Did you find a lot of kind of like-minded people on the... Well, obviously they're going to be like-minded to an extent, but did people that moved in the same circles or people that inspired you in different ways you might not expect?
Yeah, I think so. There was a kid that put me onto Atmosphere in my course that I'm forever grateful for. Like, copied me some tapes. I can't remember his name now. I feel really bad about it. But he was just like, every week he was like, have you heard Themselves? Have you heard like Dose One? I was like, no, give me it. So yeah, there was people like that. There was also, you know, posh kids, and we had like a full music studio that was completely full of library records, and I didn't know what library records were.
Yeah.
And I didn't, like, the studio was open till like 8 every night with engineers there. Didn't touch it. And I feel so bad about it. And then all those library records went in the skip as well.
Really?
I discovered years later they were all like full catalogued, like KPM, Brunswick, Southern.
Oh man!
I remember like looking through and like, who's going to want this? Like, fanfare, whatever. And then when I went back, I knew what they were and asked the engineer. I was like, "Are they?" I was like, "What? No, in the skip, gone."
Oh, what could have been?
Like, oh.
So you were on a cultural studies course, but you had full access to an engineer-manned studio.
Yeah, and a TV studio and dark rooms. Because I was doing media as well, but yeah.
Right.
So I did some photography, but it was good for sort of dilettantes, just nipping in and out of doing stuff. But I was just like, you know, nary took it seriously. I was doing all sorts of promoting and started DJing a bit more. And then we started Miniature Heroes when I was at uni, which sort of took off when that sort of really super local UK hip hop thing was popping off.
So would that have been early 2000s then?
Yeah, like very early 2000s. So from, I mean, maybe even from like 99.
So would that predate like all the sort of low life records movement then?
It was concurrent with all of that.
So what was Leeds like at that time then? Because I mean, low life was, I mean, the UK hip hop scene at that time was quite healthy, wasn't it?
It was super healthy. Yeah, like Brain Tax wasn't about in Leeds, and there was a funny sort of two-stream thing going on with like, there was the sort of Chapeltown, more like young Aggie MCs that all wanted to be Mobb Deep, and then there was the floppier white student MCs, and like there wasn't a huge amount of crossover, and then you'd get battles where it'd all come together and it was like, there's two scenes kind of running in parallel. And then, but like, I've since discovered from like people that were into like the hardcore, like guitar music hardcore scenes and other sort of underground scenes in Leeds, there's millions of them all kind of running in parallel that you don't know about. There's just, it seems to be, maybe more so than other places, I don't know, but it's really busy, but it's just practice rooms, bedrooms, like things.
Do you think that still counts is valid today?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. No, I'm just not a part of it.
Yeah,
now I look at all the listings and I'm like...
Because I wonder with things now, it's like, where I live, it's like, has everything dried up or do I just not know about it? Do you find out about it in different places I'm just not aware of?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just not party to it.
Yeah.
I sat and looked at the full month's listings for the Brudenell, and I was like, I recognise a band out of 32, I think. And I kind of went and like, it was like, maybe if I was like, no, don't know.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
definitely
not my
have
world
that.
anymore.
Sometimes you're looking at, I want to recognise their name,
Yeah.
but it's like, who am I kidding?
They could all be made up. Like, someone could be really taking the piss.
Yeah, I'm old and irrelevant now. I get it. So what was DJing like for you? Were you always just doing hip-hop gigs? Or would you cross over into anything you were uncomfortable with?
Later on, I did some sort of corporate, take this hard drive, play stuff off that gigs. I didn't survive those very well.
Right. Was the money good
just
for those, though?
It was all right, yeah. It was fine, but I was just too much of a snob when people like play Maroon 5, and I'm like, I've already played it. It's like, play it again. Like, no. But what I will do is put a green spotlight on you for the rest of the night and move it around to make you look like a witch.
Have you ever seen when Kid Capri shouts people out for like the bad requests and stuff?
Is that a thing? Amazing.
There's a thing on YouTube.
Incredible.
Yeah, he really goes to town on
and he
someone.
shouts as well.
Yeah, he basically tries to get this whole club to boo this person. Like,
incredible.
I get that they've annoyed him, but it's savage, properly relentless.
I love it.
Yeah, check it out.
It's just a nice little transfer of the balance of power when you have those awkward conversations and you're like, obviously not. Like, no.
Yeah.
Kid Knievel taught me. He used to have like a regular bar gig, and I was talking to him about it, and he was like, "Oh, just say yeah." Just like pat them on the back, congratulate them on their amazing taste. I'm like, "Yeah, definitely, pal, 100%, great choice." And then they'll come back and be like, "You're gonna put that Shakira song on?" It's like, "It's next." It's like, next song. Keep it in the box. There, see that one sticking out. That one. If they ever come back a third time, then you're like, "Oh, I played it. Were you out?" And like he said, it's never failed. Like, not once has anyone ever called him out on it.
That's
and they
amazing.
come away feeling good about themselves, and you get to like snicker behind the turntables.
That's genius. I don't know if I'd have the confidence to pull that off.
I mean, he was like shy and awkward at the time, but he was like, it just always works. Congratulate them, pat them on the back.
I think a lot of DJs are, though. The more people I speak to, there's so many of us are introverted.
Yeah, of course.
But then the thing that we do leads us to be in a place that is antithetical to that introversion, you know, particularly since the DJ became a spotlight.
Weird paradox is that you are the loneliest person in the room.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there is not going to be anyone else who is lonelier than you on your own at 2 a.m, often sober, and just thinking about sorting all of this out.
Yeah. I used to work in a call centre, technical support for BT Broadband, and I ended up like, you know, you'd be on the phone constantly from the moment you logged on till the moment you logged off. And then I at one point got this job that I thought was great, modem replacements. So I'd sit there all day with a big spreadsheet and a load of emails, ticking things off to get modems sent out to people. Okay. I thought, brilliant! I'm not going to have to be on the phone all day. But then it was like I was just sat in silence for 8 hours, just filling in a spreadsheet, and I was like, oh, it's not really any better.
I've never done a job of that nature, and it just baffles me. Like, I've never worked in an office or a call centre or anything. I've always done quite intense, like, generally face-to-face jobs, which for someone who's naturally quite shy is a weird thing to have done. But the idea of doing that, like, I know someone who literally had to put binary in for 8-hour shifts.
Really?
Something with Leeds Uni where they had to turn all data cards into something, and she had to just type 0101 for 8 hours.
I'd love it if there was, like, personality tests where you could understand, because there's got to be people that thrive with something like that. They just want a single task to do where they can switch off the other part of the brain and just crack on with it. And, you know, for a lot of people, it's their worst nightmare. And I wonder if you'd be able to effectively pair people up based on personality profiles with ideal jobs for them. Because it's like putting lids on ketchup. There's got to be people that it's good for.
The more I get older, the more I realise loads of that is just neurodivergence. Like, it's some people's brains are really well suited to that. And if you took it a bit further down that road, there's an actual pathology and a name for it. But like, I've got a very ADHD brain, which means I have to bounce between loads of things constantly.
Yeah, let's come on to that in a bit then, if you don't mind. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying Want to DJ. I wanted to create a product for the listeners to be able to support the show and for the guests as a token of gratitude for being on. So I've teamed up with Sure Shot Shop to create some Want to DJ 45 RPM adapter clamps. These are my weapon of choice as a 45 adapter as they add stability and grip to aid you in any setup. These are available for £25 each plus flat fee postage from wantodj.bigcartel.com. And if you'd like to see the other models you can buy and also customise, check out sureshotshop.com. If you're an avid collector of timeless music on vinyl but don't have the budget to fork out for those pricey originals, then look no further than Be With Records. From library music to yacht rock, jazz, hip-hop, disco and beyond, Be With lovingly reissue some of the coolest classics. All of their records are carefully remastered and cut to the highest standards to make sure the pressings are of peak audio quality and do justice to the music being released. And something else to note is that they don't do limited runs to drive up resale and hype. If the demand is there, they'll repress as the focus is the music, not the profit margin. They have flat rate shipping and free UK shipping on orders over £60. And if you head to bewithrecords.com and use the discount code ONCEADJ, all one word, you'll get 10% off your order. So head to bewithrecords.com and level up those crates today. Because when you left uni then, what were you doing then if you've not done any kind of student graveyard type sort of jobs, as I'd class them?
So I did some bar work, some kitchen work, DJ'd enough to make a bit of money, and then worked at Sound Control, like running the DJ department there.
Oh, nice.
Like a couple of days a week. But this was when Vestax was really like popping off, and they were releasing like the turntable guitar and all of their mad fader boards and stuff.
I don't know if you saw, but the designer from Vestax died yesterday.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's sad. I've been following all like the vintage Vestax accounts on Instagram.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I'm like, oh, love it. So I did that, and then because I wasn't sure what I was going to do, I went into doing support with kids in schools.
That must have been intense.
Yeah, it was good. It was intense, but it was like, it's one of those jobs you tell people and they shake their head and like, ooh, and it's like, no, it's great. Like, I much prefer the company of kids to adults generally because they haven't made their minds up. You know what I mean? They're like, then you can talk to them, and at the end of a conversation, they're like, oh, I think something different to what I thought before that.
Yeah.
And adults don't ever change their mind. It's not a thing. Really.
Yeah.
You'd like to think they do, but they don't.
I think, yeah, kids can be a lot more open-minded, can't they, about a lot of things than adults. Things that might surprise you.
Yeah. And then just, bounce between stuff. Always had DJ gigs just coming in, but I looked at people that had made that push and done it as their main job, and it wasn't a healthy lifestyle. Like, I saw people's, like, studio tan and having to move back with their parents and making all of those sacrifices. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm not that committed to it to occasionally get 200 quid for a gig but basically be broke and spend 10 hours a day learning to cut.
I think at one point as well, from what I saw, the difficulty was knowing when to start declaring everything.
Yeah,
because I knew people that lived for a long time on the cash in hand. But then it's like, if you lose this work, you can't claim benefits and stuff because you've not contributed, as far as I know. And when's the tax man going to catch up with you? So there was that side of things as well.
You don't need that anxiety, do you?
No, it's just another thing to worry about.
It's like, of those people though, like I remember again, Kid Knievel, Gerard was like sort of my model for like, he's doing all right. He won like a BBC introducing grant thing. It was like doing, but I was like, also, we were very much of a similar level at a time. He was getting better, but I'm like, I'm not that committed. Like, I'm not that knees deep in that world.
Were you producing as well then? Because production
till a bit,
pushed his
not
name,
till a bit
it?
later on. Maybe, like 2 or 3 years behind. He's touring with MIA now, though.
Really?
And producing like drums for Massive Attack, and like it's paid off. Like, it's really paid off, but it's been a long slog.
That's it, and I think this is kind of part of doing this podcast, really. It's looking at when you follow your passions, because there's this thing of, do you follow your passions or do you go, nah, following your passions for suckers, just find something steady. Because the chances of you making it in your passion and making your passion into a living or a lifestyle are quite low. But I think what I want to get out of this and give to people, if there's ever particularly any younger people that listen to this, is understanding what you can get out of following your passion. You might not become that certain thing, but you might be able to leverage it and move. If you're kind of flexible about what you want to achieve, you know, it can open doors for you to do other things that are close enough to it to satisfy that need.
I think it totally does. I think, like, you know, like just learn, like, entirely teaching yourself something is an amazing thing to have done. You know, like, I was pretty good at cutting without any input, save for seeing a few videos. Like, you know, not incredible, but I was decent. And, you know, subsequently, a lot of the things that I've done, I'm not a good student of other people. Like, I'm not good at sitting and listening, but I am pretty good at just knuckling down. And I'm going to learn that. Just do that.
Did you find when you were working with the kids then, were you able to connect with them through any of the artistic stuff?
Yeah, I did DJ workshops with them. It was good. The first thing we always did was just teaching them not to be scared. So we'd, like, get them to put their full body weight on a turntable platter and be like, look, just push, like, really, like, push. Like, you, like, this is the bit you can break, this bit, this little needle. Anything else, like, just smack it. It's fine. Like, you're safe. And again, you get kids that would be banging quickly. Like, they would just pick it up and say, oh, right, so I just do that. So I just be good at scratching, right? Like, yeah, just do that. Just be good at that. And, you know, I do it with sign painting classes as well. I get some people that come and they just watch and they're like, oh, so I just do this. And you're like, you're already better than I was after, like, 6 months of hard work teaching myself. I can just do it. It's like, I try not to be salty about it. Some people do just pick stuff up fast.
Yeah.
But there's definitely, like, parlaying things that you've learned from that world into sort of parallel ventures, or, you know. Yeah.
So at what point was it, after doing the after working with the kids, that you went into, was it primary teaching?
Secondary.
Yeah.
I just still didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was just like, I may as well earn 3 times as much money. But like, teaching assistants don't get paid enough to live, really.
Yeah.
Like, I would have carried on, I loved it, but you don't get paid enough money to actually buy food, and this was then. Like, it must be worse now. But
what were you teaching then? Was it art?
English. Everyone guesses art.
Yeah.
I wasn't even allowed to do my art GCSE. I asked him, and he said I wasn't good enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you've got him now, haven't you?
Yeah. I need to go back and find him. Mr. Jones. I spoke to someone else who said the same thing. She went back to visit. She's like a, you know, solid graphic designer artist, and she went back to her school and was like, found someone that knew her art teacher that was really disparaging and mean. She's like, tell him to.
That's mad. Like, so how did you find it then, the English teaching?
It was good. It really ticks a lot of the same boxes as DJing. Like,
really?
Because you are forward facing, you've got to present this, like, version, and then you've got your, you know, like, your headphone version of all your stuff. Here you've got a plan, you know the journey that everyone is going on, you know where you need them to end up. Like, I didn't see a huge difference, and it, like, for someone who's shy, I'd kind of just got over stage fright. So walking into an assembly, it's like, I can just get into that mode where you're like, oh, you're just standing in front of some people, it's fine, and you're broadcasting to some people. Like, it's fine.
So is there an equivalent of something I think is a big challenge with DJing, is when someone's coming up and asking for requests, if you've not got that Kid Knievel technique, is you kind of want to talk to them and manage their expectation properly, but you're also trying to do your job and trying to queue up your next tune and stuff, and and it's, you can't dedicate that. Like, I don't really like the dealing with people side of it, but there's been quite a few things where me and my mate have done weddings where he does the majority of the DJing and I'll kind of be out in the crowd, and then when we do that,
to Uncle
you've got the time. You've got the time to converse with them and explain the process and manage them properly. But is there an equivalent of that when you're teaching, when the kids are saying whatever and you're like trying to work out how you do the next bit of your lesson plan or anything?
Yeah, you learn to just read the subtext, Like, a lot of what people are saying isn't what they're saying. You just, generally, when kids are shouting and when people want requests, part of them just wants validation. They want recognition, and they want a second of being eyeballed. I mean, like, I see you, I hear what you're saying. I'm getting on with this now, but good shout. Yeah, all right, peace. And, you know, that goes a long way to it, and that is a quick one. And I have to do that when I'm, you know, if I'm painting media boxes or murals out on the street. You get a queue of people. Like, I've literally had queues of people waiting in line to be like, my granddad was a sign painter, I like red, can I have a go, whatever. And they just want a second of validation, and then, you know, generally need a little bit of steering.
Yeah.
But yeah, those like soft skills, those just managing people, you know, going, like, I saw people who were much better at progressing their careers and people who moved to London who had that sort of banter, self-promotion thing down, which is, I think, a different skill. You know, like talking to promoters, talking to other people. I was never great at that, but those kind of soft skills of keeping people happy, it's kind of fine.
Yeah, I was talking about this in an office environment with someone the other day, that it's someone that I want to work with a lot more because I really, really see the value in what they do. And in their workplace, that's not necessarily seen. And we were talking about another person there where there'll be people that get brought in from outside to do a certain job because they're seen as this like exciting, creative, whatever. But then these people that sit there, do really good work, but just stay humble.
Yeah.
They just kind of fly under the radar, and no one thinks, oh yeah, we should use them and kind of like boost them up. Whereas they'd probably do better work in half the time than the people that they're bringing in, because they know, they ask a lot more intimately as well. And it's like, it's not about being a knobhead or anything. It's not like you don't have to be kind of arrogant, I don't think. It's a lot more nuanced than that, isn't it? Just this dealing with people. It's not that arrogant people get to go further. It's something about how you
it's just a sort of confidence thing. I think like, I went to a grammar school, and there is just like a sort of level of confidence that you come away with. And I see it with people who are completely inept and have got that sort of public school confidence. I'm like, you're objectively an idiot. Like, you're not a smart person, and you're managing this company, and you're basically doing fine because you've got people working for you.
Well, look at Boris.
Yeah, exactly. He's the epitome of that. But there is like, I see people who are great and they constantly diminish themselves and they miss opportunities, and they're like, oh, I've got a little business doing this. I'm like, you haven't got a little business. Like, you're really good at doing a thing, and people should pay you a lot of money. And, you know, like, I don't always talk about money with people that do similar jobs, but like, I'll talk about day rates with people, and they'll be like, you charge how much? I'm like, I do. And you know how many people complain about it? Like, none. Yeah. Because like, part of that is like a cost equals value equation, and if you've got the balls to be like, it is that much, that's just how much a day of my time costs. Yeah. And they're like, exactly the same work becomes better and more valuable to them, which is the same with consultants that come in. They can come in and talk shit in front of people, and everyone hangs on their every word because, you know, someone knows how much they're billing them for. Time versus output, isn't it? That you pay, that you're charging people for. Yeah. But yeah, sometimes it's like, if you don't charge enough as well, people just don't take you seriously. No, like getting your price point right is quite a tricky thing. And if you do things for free, even for people that you know that should know better, I've seen people just apply zero value to something that is objectively like good work. Yeah. In, you know, across different things, across music and, you know, doing bits of engineering for people or painting stuff. I've done things, tried to help people out, not charged, and they've been like, oh, that's... Yeah, knowing when to do free is a really big skill. Yeah. It's an asset because it can get your foot in the door for the right thing, but yeah, sometimes you just get walked all over. Yeah. So what was it that led you to leave the teaching? Was it that enough was enough, or did you then find that... So I was doing a master's while I was teaching, doing art stuff. So I did, without even an art GCSE, I did an art master's. Right. And initially was sort of going to make education resources and games and things that I was going to paint. Got into sign painting doing that. And then just fell down that same hole of starting scratching where you're like, this is really hard and this goes very deep, and I'm just getting in. I'm just gonna keep doing it. Like, I expected that I would be good at it, and I wasn't. And I've got a little sort of knobhead gear that goes, all right, okay, let's just get good then. Like, there's a bit of me that can't bear it.
Do you look at things like they're a puzzle to be solved?
Yeah.
Because I get like that with things. Like, I'm obsessed with Sudoku.
Right.
Specific type of Sudoku as well at the moment. And I'm just like, with things like that, if I struggle with them, I'll be like, I want to understand the strategies of how to do it.
Yeah.
Me and my missus played drafts for the first time the other day.
Oh, okay.
Well, I played it for the first time. She's played it loads when she was younger.
Okay.
So now, like, she absolutely walloped me at it. So I'm like, right, I need to start reading about drafts because I need to understand why she's beating me and how I stop this happening and how I beat her.
Is there a lot to it? Is there strategy to drafts?
This is what I need to read. I got like halfway through something and got distracted. But I find that with a lot of things. So, like, even with something like this project, for example, it's like, how do I get this to a place where it's profitable, where it's growing? And it's almost like it's a puzzle, you know, digital marketing campaigns, things like that. It's a puzzle. How, you know, you've got this amount of time, this amount of budget. How do you optimize this? And particularly with digital, looking at multi-channel things, how do you get everything to align and work together? Like, so I'm the same with that.
I mean, if I've got something like that, that's when I'm calm. When my brain is occupied across that many frequencies, like, I'm not saying I'm smart, but I require that much input, and to not have loads of just constant chatter going on in my head, I need to, like, so mixtapes were my favourite for that. Like, a mixtape is a problem to be solved. You set yourself a brief, and you're like, I'm going to do this, or it's going to be this long, or it's just going to be from these sources, or, you know, you create some hurdles, and then you just sit and problem solve for every half day. When I was teaching, I would make a mixtape.
I was going to say to you, how was DJing alongside teaching? Did DJing just go, or
no? I did. Because I was promoting a night called Stone Soup that was every Thursday, Wednesday, like, so every other week in the week, and we were out till like late, and it was boozy, and we did like come to an understanding with the kids about hangovers that was just like, it was cool, like, we were all right with it. It's like, I'm having a tough day, we all need to be cool, like, we can have a nice time, but just so you know, like, I'm going to get the teaching assistant to destroy you if you shout. If you're going to be awful, it's going to be a bad time for everyone. And they just got on board with it. They were like, all right, just let Mr. Hadley's got a hangover, just be cool. And everyone was cool.
Were you like the cool teacher because you were an open book about stuff like that?
I think it helps, I don't know. I don't know that there is such a thing as a cool teacher. I remember I was judging was it a rap battle? I think it was a rap battle at Leeds University, and some of the kids from school were there, and they just couldn't get their head. They were like, what is that div that wears a cardigan doing sitting up there next to the stage? Like, no. You see, like, you can see kids' minds crumbling when you get that, like, the code switching doesn't work, and they're like, but he's from that world, and I'm in this world, and he's... And so, you know, you get a little bit of shine, and I was like, I'll make him a CD. I'll make him a hip-hop CD. And they just were like, it's a bit old. It was like, this is like Kalashnikov. This is like a year and a half old, but that's old, you know what I mean? That's like, they were at that stage where, like, it's what's out this month. You know,
to me, anything after 2000 is still new.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the state I'm in. So, when did you discover your ADHD?
So, my oldest kid has it much more severely than me, and he's medicated for it, and so we've had to sort of read about it, and the more you read, I'm like, oh, that's me. Oh, that's also me. Oh, that's me as well. Yeah. Which has been, I just speak to loads of adults that have this same thing, but it completely reconfigures what you thought was your personality, is sort of the pathology of a chemical deficiency in your brain. Like, you think you're just interested in stuff, and, you know, like, loads of stuff makes sense in retrospect, like getting overwhelmed with busy spaces and loud noises, and having to take on sort of complex tasks like making a mixtape or learning triple quick flares or whatever.
So would that
they're all an
quiet
expression
down the
of,
noise?
Yeah, they're like a hyper-focus thing that's like really standard ADHD behaviour. And also, like, once it becomes codified and you know it's a thing, I realise that basically all of my friends are as well. Like, it's just pretty much without exception. The people that you drift through the world and you're like, oh, like, she's cool, he's brilliant, I'll become friends with him. You're like, also ADHD people.
Do you medicate?
I tried it. So we give our kids Ritalin, or Concerta, the new version of Ritalin, which is just speed. And I tried his meds, and it is speed, like it's drugs. It's not, it's not a paracetamol. You know about it when you've had it in the morning. It's not like having a cup of coffee. And he has it every morning. He has like a big dose every day, and he struggles if he's off it. So, no, I'm not down for that. Didn't like it. Made my skin itch.
Yeah, I had a similar conversation with someone recently who said he discovered it, and he said it was an absolute game, that he had ADHD, that is not the Ritalin. And he said it was an absolute game changer because it just gave him a lot of clarity about just a lot of things in life. But he said he tried the medication and just really couldn't get on, but just knowing's enough.
Yeah, you don't beat yourself up so much. Like, I would really beat myself up about stuff that I couldn't do. There's stuff that I'm good at, but, like, give me a tax return and I'll cry and punch the table and my brain will melt and I can't do it. Like, I just get completely overwhelmed with juggling, like, a few variables at once. Whereas, give me, like, a complex bit of writing to copy edit or a mixtape and I have no stress and it's completely fine and I can do it. But certain things I'll be like, well, I'm just an idiot, I can't function, and it's like, it's just like a problem of neurochemistry.
Yeah. You did used to write, didn't you? That's something you've not covered. Can you tell us a bit about that?
So my friend Paul started Bonafide magazine, which was like what was it called? Documenting concrete culture was their tagline. And it was good, and he was a designer, but it was chock full of mistakes, and my English teacher brain couldn't deal with it, and I was like, look, just let me edit the magazine for you and make it like be correct. And then anything sort of turntable-y, like hip-hop-y would kind of come to me, and I'd start writing features. So I did like Ricky Powell, got to interview Mixmaster Mike, that was fun.
Oh, amazing. But
in the middle of a gig, so I had like a regular 5-hour gig, and I had to go and see the manager and be like, I've got to call California at 10 o'clock. I had to go and sit on the floor in a shopping centre with people like out in town all around me, just writing stuff down and recording. That was good. I carried on doing that for a few years. But, sometimes you have to cut things loose where there is zero money and quite a lot of work.
Yeah, and if they're things that hold you back from excelling in the other things that you care about more.
Yeah. And it's, there has to be some element of kudos for things as well. Like you have to, I don't think it's especially greedy or self-obsessed to want, like they started putting someone else's name at the top of articles.
Really? How come?
Like posted by. I was like, well, it's not written by you though, is it? And then they bury my name at the bottom, and they didn't see why that was a problem. It's like, it's kind of a problem. If I'm going to work for free, I want just at least a name at the top, so I can parlay it into something else. Don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for your sort of resume, does it? If you're saying to people, I wrote this article, and then they go to a website or whatever, and your name's just not even near the top of it.
Scroll all the way down past some adverts and stuff at the bottom. It's like,
So from starting the sign writing, I appreciate we've been all over your timeline,
bouncing about
today, and not really got into much in terms of the DJing, but I think what's interesting is how you've kind of related the DJing to everything else and the things that you've learnt from it.
It's sort of foundational.
And with the sign writing, I know when we talked on the phone, you mentioned about this is something I thought about a lot since we discussed it, is you mentioned about training someone else up in sign writing and another sign writer questioning why you might want to do that. But we were talking about how the hip-hop culture kind of encourages you to bring other people into the fold.
What would Bambata do?
Yeah, it's like, if this person's in there, if they're that good, then you've just got to get better.
Yeah.
And
that is absolute, like, that's a fundament of that world. Like, I think when we came into it, and Qbert just made that like, I'm just going to show you everything. I'll teach everyone how to do everything, and that is standard practice. There's no hiding anything. There's no like, I can do this, that you don't know what it is. And then, someone is being salty about it, and they're like, but there's only 2 sign writers. Don't teach anyone else how to do it. It's like, no, I want to create competition. I want to make other people, that's why Leeds was hitting well above its weight for a while, because there was just that critical mass of, Michael and Matt Mann and Combine and Cynical and all these people that were all just like, oh, have you seen, like, Matt can do that now? It's like, have you seen, Mike's on this now?
Was there a lot of like community jamming and stuff?
Yeah, just little like just nipping around people's houses and doing that. And then like, because there was also that kind of perfect storm of a regular night that really pushed residents at Drum Major. So, you knew you were getting better, and you had a regular place with rap nerds that were coming to watch you, and like week by week see who had new routines, who'd kind of got better.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I'd spent more time up in Leeds, to be honest.
It was a healthy scene, like it was a really healthy scene.
Yeah, I was just too lazy and anxious to go anywhere, really. Like, speak to a lot of people in this, and whether it's about things like this or it's about the club culture and stuff, it's like I didn't really go anywhere outside my comfort zone at all for about 10 years.
No, I mean, I should have gone to Manchester more, because it's really not very far away. Yeah. It's ridiculous that in retrospect, I can just get there in no time. I don't even have a car, but it doesn't matter.
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying One to DJ. I wanted to create a product for the listeners to be able to support the show, and for the guests as a token of gratitude for being on. So I've teamed up with Sure Shot Shop to create some One to DJ 45 RPM adapter clamps. These are my weapon of choice as a 45 adapter, as they add stability and grip to aid you in any setup. These are available for £25 each plus flat fee postage from onetodj.bigcartel.com. And if you'd like to see the other models you can buy and also customise, check out sureshotshop.com. If you're an avid collector of timeless music on vinyl but don't have the budget to fork out for those pricey originals, then look no further than Be With Records. From library music to yacht rock, jazz, hip-hop, disco and beyond, Be With lovingly reissue some of the coolest classics. All of their records are carefully remastered and cut to the highest standards to make sure the pressings are of peak audio quality and do justice to the music being released. And something else to note is that they don't do limited runs to drive up resale and hype. If the demand is there, they'll repress, as the focus is the music, not the profit margin. They have flat rate shipping and free UK shipping on orders over £60. And if you head to bewithrecords.com and use the discount code ONCEADJ, all one word, you'll get 10% off your order. So head to bewithrecords.com and level up those crates today. What are the... Because I guess you get about, from what I've seen with the signwriting, you do bits down in Sheffield and here, there and everywhere. What's it like up around sort of Leeds and Sheffield for the satellite towns? Are they getting a bit more diverse, and so say like an Otley, or just in more sort of art things going on?
I don't know. Again, like, with those sort of scenes that you don't know about, there's just a lot of scenes that you don't know about. There's things happening. And, you'd like, Instagram has been kind of amazing for finding people who are, because there's always been, like, you'd occasionally come across DJs that were incredible, that were in, like, Llanbedr in Wales or something. Yeah. And he's just a dude with a mini disc player. And it's like, but you're, like, you'd be crushing it in Leeds. You'd be absolutely, he's like, just lives in a cottage and he makes mixtapes. It's like, you got to meet my friend that does this. And now those people, like, have a platform, and it sounds kind of cliched, but you have a platform and easy access, like equivalent access to stuff. And you see some people, like, really crushing it from interesting places. But a lot of that is often kind of divorced from a scene. Like, it's not part of that local, real world scene, which I think was important. Yeah. I think that was, like, that really mattered. Especially when you're learning something tactile. Like, I remember learning flares from my friend Loz, and he was like, I was trying it, I couldn't get it, and he was like, it's like chigga wogga, and he's like trying to vocalise how it worked, and he was like, all right, hold on, this is going to seem a little bit gay, but just be cool. And he kind of reached his arms around me like the film Ghost, Put his hands on mine. It's like, just relax. Just relax. Just do this. Just do this. Just do this. And it's like, can he just puppeted me for a bit? I was like, all right, I can flare now. Like, this is a real world physical thing.
Yeah, it's so weird though, isn't it, with the mechanics, because with things like flare, you're activating an off switch rather than an on switch.
Yeah, and my brain couldn't do it.
Yeah,
through listening, through words, through all the other things like patterns and things. And he was like, I know what we need to do.
Yeah,
I'm just going to make you my puppet for a minute, and you'll know how to do flares. And ever since then, I have a little Patrick Swayze moment when I start doing flares. I'm just like, he's behind me.
I found it with drum kits where if I wanted to learn anything sort of with like ghost notes involved or anything, because I just used to get on a drum kit whenever I could, and it was usually at the end of brass band. That was my life as a 10, 12, 13-year-old, and you just really have to slow things down to probably trying to do a beat at about 45 BPM or something like that, just to understand the mechanics, so that you can speed it up and kind of take it from like a left brain thing to a right brain thing, and stop overthinking about it.
That's why I got fired from my sound control job, playing the drums.
Really?
Whenever it was quiet, they had that Roland TD10, the digital kit with the skins on. I was like, well, there's no one here, like no one's buying DJ stuff today, so I'm going to play the drums. And basically I just sat in the shop just getting paid to play the drums. Like, you kind of need to just piss off now, because you've come to work and play the drums all day.
Sounds like a dream.
Yeah, it was fun while it lasted.
I've been into that.
It was great. And occasionally someone would come in for spending a fortune, and they had to have someone that knew about turntables and PA and things. It's like, well, I'm sort of useful from time to time, but I can't pretend to be busy when I'm not.
Yeah. So just going back to the sign writing then, how did that kind of blow up? Because you get quite a lot of things like breweries and stuff like that. You seem to have quite a good network of where you get the work from. Is any of that fall out of any of the other sort of cultural endeavours that you've done, or like how did the business grow?
Yeah, it all just ties together. I don't know. I mean, I would say I'm probably significantly more successful in that than the music things that I tried. And partly it was just a question of timing. Like you look at a lot of people that are successful, it's not necessarily anything to do with being the best at something, it's just hitting a window perfectly and being able to write it out. But like, also I had to leave teaching. I was burnt out and I couldn't deal with it anymore. I'd been good at it and everyone was like, oh, that must be hard. I was like, no.
How many years was it again? About
12.
12. Oh wow, yeah.
And then when I had to go. So I just I need to make this be a thing that works and take it seriously. And I think doing a master's degree, I was a bit of a contrary student and didn't like a lot of the stuff on my course. But what they do is make you take yourself seriously as an artist. Like, they don't let you be a hobbyist. Like, you have to account for what you're doing and explain what you're doing and, talk about your practice and your, what your art is without making excuses. I was like, right, I'm a craft. Like, my dissertation was about the nature of art versus craft, like the identity of like a craftsperson and an artist being different, and a craftsperson being like community facing, and an artist being sort of internally looking for inspiration inside them. And some of that was from doing other community facing music stuff and having that understanding, but just like having some style, having the capacity to just knuckle down, teach myself to do something and be good at it, and the other people that had done it generationally just slipping off and stopping all played into it.
Did you?
It's worked. And I think the fact that I can bounce between, like, the signwriters I know in London, a lot of them, because there's so much work, they specialise and they'll just do gold, or they'll do vintage vehicle restoration, or they'll do shop signs, or they'll do murals. I just kind of do everything. I just bounce between loads of things, so I never have fallow periods, because there's always something from one end coming up.
So something I used to do in DJing, which probably caused me no end of headaches, but when I worked in marketing and sort of content, was quite beneficial was just saying yes before really thinking something through,
Oh, yeah,
and
for
just
sure.
you work out how to do it later.
Yeah,
When I've done that with DJing, you get like a day before a gig and you're like, I've not prepared for this, so how am I going to get through this thing? And I'd maybe not panic attacks, but I'd stress out about it a lot.
But you've never completely screwed it up, right? You've always kind of got away with it.
Oh yeah. And I found it's something that held me in really good stead when I moved into a particular job, because they were like, right, we need someone to work in project managing on this big video production. I'm like, yep, do that. Never done it before. And it's like, I'll put in the hours, I'll do long days. You know, I didn't have to say this to anyone, I just did it. And that's what helped me to do that, because you'll just work until you get it right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the privilege of being a tall white guy, partly. Like, it's you know, like, I attribute some of it to having gone to the school I went to, but also, like, I know women that are in most respects better at whatever they do than the people around them, but they don't have that particular gear where, like, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, of course, definitely, no problem, I'll do that. Because they'll legitimately be like, I'm not sure that that's quite within my wheelhouse. And then someone who's less qualified is like, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I say no to very little, and I'd nearly always get away with it. I just teach myself how to do things.
I heard of a CEO referring to it as like white man's confidence or something like that recently.
Absolutely is.
And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. What's the worst that could happen?
Well, like, you know, and even if you fail, you get the kudos of being a go-getter that tried to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's
crazy.
And I increasingly get frustrated at people I know that don't have that. And I, you know, do little pep talks with people. I'm like, don't diminish your business. Don't say no. Just be like a cocky little gobshite and just say, yeah, you'll do that. Yeah, yeah, of course I can do that. Of course, you know, some of the first murals that I did were like 90-foot long, giant lettering on the side of some hoardings. I'm like, can you do that? I'm like, yeah, of course I can. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
And, you know, you just, with a mix of ingenuity and asking people and tape measures and computers, just like figured it out. It's fine.
And then
even when things didn't work, just like also having the capacity to problem solve on the fly and not cry about it. I've nearly always got away with it. 2 or 3 times I've not, and it's been fine anyway.
Yeah. And you've had projects on telly as well, haven't you?
I've got a new thing coming up soon that should have been out this month. New Stephen Graham thing that I did tons of stuff for. And again, like, someone came on my course that I was teaching, got in touch from Netflix and was like, we're doing a thing set in the future. Can you do a memorial spray paint mural from the future in 80 years' time from a giant calamity? I was like, yeah, of course I can. Yeah, I'll do that. Definitely.
I never asked.
Then,
did you used to write graph?
Yeah, I was never great though. I couldn't claim to be a good graph writer. Drunken graph. We did some pieces. There's some bits that occasionally I'll be like, oh wow, it's still there. How is that still there? But yeah, this Netflix thing just snowballed into like painting whole streets and sides of buildings and just aging down sets, like just doing sort of a set decorator's work. But
awesome.
All the set decks can't use graffiti stuff, like, and they know that it'll look dog shit if I come and write Jeff was here, because you can read that a mile off. So having that kind of cultural capital to know what it's supposed to look like, and the network of people to be like, do you want to come and paint a set for a day? I'll just get a whole box of paint and you can just kick stuff about. So I had a couple of weeks of destroying Wentworth Estate.
It's always nice if you can pull your mates in as well, isn't
great.
It?
Yeah. And a street up in Hull. Just covering sides of buildings and painting loads of fake graffiti that had to come and get stuck in for the 2 hours that they're filming.
So, what does DJing look like for you now then?
From that world, like, I've been doing some production. I went over to working on it in Manchester. That's like a instrumental hip hop thing at the hip hop chip shop.
Yeah.
In Manchester. That Lone Apostrophe does, who used to MC with me a long time ago. And playing like beat sets off Koala on the iPad. And then deciding whether I get back into putting everything together or divest myself of 4,000 or 5,000 records. And I think where you were a few years ago, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I ditched a lot, but
I've
kind of
so
came
many.
back to it a few years later, and I'm enjoying it. And excuse me, it's kind of like once you do something once, say some sort of creative endeavour, say you recorded a mix on the computer, multi-tracked it all up, that file disappeared. You're not going to get the same thing again, but what you will do is you'll be like, well, I can do that quicker and more efficiently.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I think ditching all the records, buying again, I'm not saying everything I buy is a good purchase, but comparatively to the first time round that I did it, I'm quite a lot more ruthless now, I think, about putting things back and getting something if I want it. I'd rather now buy one thing that's 15 quid than 5 that are 3, for example.
Yeah.
And just having that benefit of a bit of wisdom of buying again, and knowing what it might look like if I buy certain things. It's like, really, how much time do I have to spend sampling at the moment? There's loads of things I'd bought because they've got samples on them.
A lot of my collection is that. They're things that I'm not going to want to listen to, but they've got, like that 40,000 Headmen tune on your mix. Like, I've used that in a mix before as well. The rest of the record that it's from, I forget who it is. Moody Blues? No.
No. The one with the flute on it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't
Gorgeous.
think off the top of my
But
head.
I've got it on a comp. The rest of it's awful.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even necessarily play that whole tune out, but I've just got so much, and I've got so much spoken word. I've got like an offensive amount of spoken word, bird voices of Wales volumes 1 to 4.
I think
like,
that
stuff
sort
like
of stuff
that.
was such a big thing in the like Ninja Tune, Mowax sort of era.
And that's hardwired into me to want all of that.
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to do a lot with things like that without it sounding a little bit dated.
Yeah.
But if it's
But
stuff
I'm
that
also
if it's
very
stuff that you
attached
love,
to it. Like,
yeah,
I don't want to use it necessarily. I don't want to get rid of it. But I've spent a long time building a very odd little collection of super niche spoken word stuff.
yeah. My advice would be, if you don't need the space and you're not trying to move anywhere anytime soon, just keep them.
Yeah, I would sooner lose like import hip hop 12s from the early
Yeah.
2000s.
Yeah,
than
yeah.
The exploits of Blaster Bates, which is like a northern demolition guy that predates Fred Dibner.
I mean,
telling stories
likewise,
about blowing up chimneys.
With that, if you get rid of that, it won't take you long to find another copy.
Well, I don't know. I've only seen it once.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen a few of them.
Oh, yeah.
Get down to the Midlands. Is there anything that we've not covered, do you think, in terms of DJing or anything else? Because I
don't know.
appreciate
There's
we're
like
kind
the
of running
bands
out of
bit in
time.
the middle. So there was Miniature Heroes, which was Lazy and Arrow, and we did quite well. We were on the front of Undercover magazine and did some recording, like travelled around, did some gigs, and that was kind of production, cuts and stuff. And then Sound of the Baskervilles band, that was like a big funk band
So
with turntables.
just on the doing the cuts for bands then, because I used to do it a little bit. It's not something I'd kind of recommend anyone to listen to. But what I struggled with was the repetition of going and doing the same thing every time. Would you repeat or would you freestyle?
Freestyle with a phrase, but like, so I don't have a great ear for like pitch and music. Like, I couldn't tell if some things in key, like rhythmically solid, but I would have a lot of like those Richie Rucker and Chris Gierstad like tone records.
Oh yeah.
And I would sit with one of the writers and be like, okay, so this is in C, right? So find me a C, and I would tape it off, and then we would do like really laboriously put together actual musical turntable things that had to be repeated, but they were like interesting technical challenges and like early sort of loop station things, like trying to sync a loop station with a band and build phrases. I never got bored. I played the tambourine as well. I like playing the tambourine. That's fun. Yeah.
I think I'd struggle with that. It's tiring though as well, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a good sort of physical hip hop party band. It was a fun thing to do. But it's hard to maintain. Like, I think we got up to 12 pieces maybe, with horns and stuff at one point. It's like keeping all of that in the air.
It's a lot.
Tricky.
And I always used to think it was interesting with bands. If I do like little pub sets early on when I was DJing, you might be getting paid 50 quid to play for half an hour.
Yeah.
And like an entire band's there, they're probably getting 20, 25 quid between them or something.
We had gigs where you'd literally be getting fractions of a pound. It'd
Yeah.
be like £2.30 for your gig or something. But, you know, you also get to that point and you abandon the idea of it making you any money at all. Like,
Yeah.
we're paying to be in this band with petrol and stuff, but it's fine. It's fun.
If you're loving it.
You know, it's like a band of pirates with your mates. You get to go and maraud all over and rock up places, which is, you know, I feel sorry that people never get to do that. Like, it's a rare experience and it's special.
Yeah, I think with the band I did stuff with, it was the travelling around with them all that was the big thing for me.
Yeah.
Because they were just a lovely bunch of people and we got to go do some stuff and we got looked after, you know.
Yeah.
The guy that organised everything was pretty solid, made sure everyone got their, you know, got decent petrol money and all this, and paid whatever he could, you know. And, you know, it was pretty fair like that.
I think you get, you know, I've always had that. Like, I had a night that I put on where we got some free drinks if it was really busy, 50 quid in total for, you know, when we'd put all sorts of stuff on. Like, we would get loads of bands to come and play. We had like, we hosted Andy Votel Finders Keepers tour every month for a bit, and we just did all of it on a shoestring. We used to like raffle off records and paintings and stuff.
Yeah.
And but everyone knew that, like, you know, we never took anything. Like, we're doing it for free, and we'd be like, look, we've got 50 quid, we've got 3 people on, you can have 20 quid each because we've, you know, raffled some stuff.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
you know, that's a gear that people should understand.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get it. That there's things I'll do happily for free where I'm like, you know, it's not someone mugging you off, and then sometimes someone might want you to do. Sometimes it's worse if someone wants you to do something for a low amount than if they want you to do it for free because they're doing it for different reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm at a stage now where I'm entirely happy to tell people to stick it up their arse when they ask me to do stuff for free.
Yeah.
If I'm like, because my radar is strong for when people are taking the mick, and if someone says the word exposure, I'm like, I'm not into your exposure.
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
I'm alright for your exposure.
Right, just before we call time on it, is there anything that you think we've missed that's a key piece of advice for any up-and-coming DJs?
I don't know. I think, like, if I was mentoring someone, just trying to help someone understand the nature of time, like how long you have. And, you know, if you can just do 2 hours a day, if you can do an hour a day, if you do half an hour a day, practicing something, you'll be pretty good at it after a year. After
Kind of compounds, doesn't it?
Like, it seems like it's an insurmountable thing, but just chip away. Like, you know, like the advice that is useful the older you get is the not very glamorous, exciting advice, but just keep doing something.
Yeah.
Aim to be a bit less shit at it. And before you know it, you're like, oh, I'm actually all right. I'm fine.
Amazing. And just one last question then. Who would you like to see on this podcast and why?
Michael. Dr. Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got some good stories for you, for sure. And then, if you're going to get some Americans, Kid Koala. My all-time favourite gig was Kid Koala.
I'd love to get Kid Koala on it.
Wednesday night at a working men's club, and I just thought I'd go and see some cuts, and it was the most extravagant, ridiculous performance I've ever seen. There was like hundreds of paper aeroplanes, trampolines, 5 costume changes, beekeepers' outfits. Just like, it was insane.
That's what I'd love to get into with him, how he kind of springboards all different types of media from the turntables.
Yeah.
You know, he gets into its books, its computer games, its TV shows. It's just everything. And
I just get the impression that he doesn't compete with anyone else. Like, he just has ideas and chases them down.
Yeah.
He's got that sort of small town mentality where he's just like, there isn't anyone around me that's doing it, so what if it was like this? Oh, and Buddy Peace.
Oh, okay.
Buddy Peace is my favourite. He's a genius. That's like an enviable career of just doing incredible work again and again and again for, you know, like, it's never necessarily going to blow up because it's niche, but there is so much going on. Like, it's so deep and clever.
And he was a good guy at, what was the record shop?
Banquet?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are good things about him as a record seller as well.
What, John First, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't praise Buddy Peace enough. Like, some of those mixtapes, just years later, I'll still be like, oh, you hid that there. Oh, you little Easter egg hiding bugger. Awesome.
Cool.
Good stuff.
Thanks a lot for your time, Kieran. Where can people find you online?
Instagram, bab_Sabbath, and thirdeyesigns.com.
And it's Bab Sabbath because it was DJ Baboon.
That's right.
Why DJ Baboon?
It's sort of lost to the sands of time, I think. It was briefly Dexterous. Gladly, that one's buried. I don't actually. It was something to do with talking nonsense with my little brothers, and we've never quite worked out where it came from. But I just stuck with it. But I think most people who have a DJ name aren't especially proud of it and wouldn't have chosen it as older people. But it's just, what it is.
I put a thing on Reddit the other day asking what people's DJ names are and why, and I was expecting some really crazy stories. There weren't many. They're generally quite
some people
mundane
don't want to
reasons.
share their terrible ones.
Yeah. It's like, well, I like this and I like this. Yeah. Anyway,
cool.
Let you go, mate. Thank you very much for your time.
Lovely.
Cheers. Take care.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Once a DJ. If you'd like to support the show, then head to onceadj.com/support to find out how you can help. If you'd like to get in touch with any feedback or suggestions, email onceadjpodcast@gmail.com. Once a DJ is produced by the good people at Remote Control. If you'd like to find out more about working with them, head to remote-ctrl.co.uk.
Was nice.